So greetings from Pennsylvania once again, and welcome back to another video. We're still here on our northwestern PA trip, Allegheny National Forest trip. We're not in the Allegheny National Forest yet, just making our way there. Just filmed the only covered bridge in Clearfield County. Right now, we're on the edges of the Cook Forest. Cook Forest State Park is just back there. And we're here at what is known as the Cook Forest Cemetery, or the Cooksburg Cemetery. Some people drive by. Check this place out. It's right off the road. That's Cemetery Road back there. And just across the road is Cook Forest State Park. Man, kind of interesting place. Yeah, why are we here? Well, it's that time of year. It's spooky season. And supposedly this cemetery is haunted. We'll talk about why, and we're going to be looking for one thing in particular. There's one of these graves supposedly has a stone ball next to it. We'll keep an eye out for that. I'm not seeing anything offhand. But yeah, looks like the newer section up here. The older section back here. Yeah, but there's some other stories about this place. I mean, there's the typical hauntings, you know, people coming out and seeing things, seeing lights. Oh, actually, that might be the one we're looking for right there. I don't see the ball, but we'll talk about that in a moment. But yeah, all kinds of other stories. Lots of crying here. We'll talk about that too. Beautiful day out here, though. And up there is like a mausoleum or something to a prominent family around here. We might check that out in a little bit if you can see it up there. But let's, yeah, a lot of last names of Cook, because we are here in Cooksburg, Cook Forest. Here's another Cook. Yeah, so what's up with the crying? Let's talk about that. So supposedly there are a number of infants buried here, and one story says that there are twins buried here, but they're buried on opposite sides of the cemetery. I don't know why they would do that, but that's the story. And then because they were separated, they cry for each other at night because they were separated from each other. You know, twins are supposed to be pretty close to each other and stuff, but for some reason they were buried separately, and then at night they cry out to each other. They cry for each other because they're no longer together. That's the one story. But those infant graves would be more on this side. So when they say opposite sides, maybe they mean for the old cemetery here and there, or maybe there and there, I don't know. There are a number of infants buried here, according to the records. But we're not here at night, so I don't expect to hear any crying. Yeah, there's supposed to be also a stone ball that was either on top of one of the graves, like an ornamental stone. One of these graves supposedly had like a spike on the top where the ball used to sit. Not quite seeing that. I saw the one over there, but I don't think that's what I was looking for. Kind of an interesting spot here, though, out here in the woods. Got some Civil War veterans. George Pop. Yeah, just looking for one that might have had an ornamental stone ball on top of it at one point. Like this one right here. Not sure if this is a marker or not, but I don't know if you can put a ball on top, because I want to find that ball. We could talk about that. That's part of the haunting here. I don't see any names on that one. I figured it would be in the older part of the cemetery versus the newer part over there. But we'll check. We'll go up. Like I said, we'll go and check up there too. That just looks interesting. Another Civil War veteran. Yeah, where is the stone ball? Because it might be, who knows, maybe someone stole it too. Or maybe they removed it because it's just part of the history here. And maybe too many people came here looking for it all the time. But I'm not seeing this stone ball. I forget how big they said it was. There's different descriptions of it, saying that it once was like ornamental on top of a grave, or some people say they don't know where it came from. Because supposedly the ball, doesn't stay in one spot. It moves. Some people just say it moves. Other people say it rolls around the cemetery at night to different places. But then back in the morning, it ends up back where it's supposed to be. Or some say you have to put it back where it was, and the next morning it'll be somewhere else. So that's interesting. But this cemetery it's well known. If you type in like haunted cemeteries of Pennsylvania, this one will come up. So I wouldn't doubt if that stone ball got removed or something even. But I would love to find it. Just because it was like the main part of what I was reading. I don't hear any babies crying yet either. I hear insects off in the woods, but no babies crying. I could always add some sound effects to the video, some babies crying, but... Alright, where's this stone ball? Looks like the oldest cemeteries are the oldest cemeteries. The oldest graves are back here. Yeah, these ones back here in the shade of this like huge oak tree. John Cook. There's another Cook. That right there could be a child's grave. Because the adults usually the big one. Sometimes a child has a smaller one. Just say, what does that say? Lanancy Slocum. That could be a child, a baby. (1818 to 89), so that's not a child. But there are infants and children buried in here, just like it's with all cemeteries. So, maybe our ball is up there. I keep pointing to that later, so I guess we'll take a walk up there too. But I was under the impression that stone ball was down here. Over here's the newer part. I don't think it's over there. Just a couple of graves over there. Well. So here's an interesting grave. It says like a concrete pillar next to it. Like, what is that right there? I mean, that's a Civil War marker. But it's just that's not even a tombstone. It's just like a piece of terracotta. What is a spider on there? One of those daddy long leggers. Sorry, buddy. It was like one of those terracotta pipes with some filled with concrete. Oh, and not even in there that far. Maybe it's just there to mark where a grave is, or maybe the stone ball was on top of here. We'll take one look down here later, but I want to go up the hill here. Check this place out. This looks really cool. I think you'd call this a mausoleum. But just maybe that roaming stone ball is up here. Kind of interesting. It's all the way up here by itself. Up away from the other cemetery down there. And it says Cook as well.
Huh, but there are like private property signs up here. Due to extensive damage, do not cross beyond this point. Alright, so they probably had issues with vandalism here. There's a private property sign up there. So I kind of wonder if that stone wall used to be up here at some point. You know, there's another entrance up there. Here's another view with the sun shining on it. Some more graves over there. You can get a picture of this. So I'm wondering, yeah, more and more I'm starting wondering if that ornamental stone ball was up here. And too many people were coming up here. You know, maybe it wasn't moving on its own. Maybe people were moving it. There, look at that. That's a neat shot with all in the sun there. This almost looked like a ball up here, but it's not. Oh, there's a stuffed animal in here. Like a raccoon. Okay. So this must be a child's grave. It just says October 27th, 1927. So that fits into our story with the babies crying. Maybe someone placed that in there for the baby. I think it's supposed to be like a vase, but you could almost picture a stone ball being put in there. Huh. It sounds like one of those places too where they have trouble with people coming here at night. You know, with all the stories about, you know, babies crying and ornamental stone balls rolling around at night. It attracts, you know, a certain crowd. You know, some people are respectful. They're just doing like a paranormal investigation, but other people come here and do, you know, damaging stuff. Thus they have to like cordon this off. But I'm not sure. The stories I read didn't really say exactly where the stone ball was. One did mention that there's a grave marker that had an ornamental spike on it, where the ball may have once rested. Let's head back down. I don't think there's anything up this way. I think that's just the main driveway in to get to here. I'll just quick take a peek. Yeah, there's just looking down. I don't see any. I don't know, do I? No, I guess those are just, I almost feel like I do see markers down there. I'm gonna quick walk down here just to double check. Yeah, now I'm getting closer. I don't think there are any here. I think I was just seeing some of these rocks and different stuff that were out here. Looked like they could be grave markers. Yeah. Looks like this is the main entrance in. Alright. Once again, that's Cemetery Road. We're parked just at the bottom. Yeah, so I can see how a place like this would get lots of perhaps unwanted attention. There's stories, you know, all over the internet about this spot, and you are right next to a super popular state park, Cook Forest, so creates conditions for people to want to come here at night, and like I said, do not so great stuff sometimes. Just farewell to that cool monument. Let's head back down. Let's take a second look. Because I didn't really even see a grave that had kind of an ornamental spike. I mean, there's a couple that I was thinking like a long narrow spike, but maybe they meant something else. Well, let's go down and take a second look. Back down to where the babies are crying. Yeah, there's nothing here on the newer parts of the cemetery. And we'll listen for sounds of crying too. Of course, that only is supposed to happen at night, though too. There's that one I pointed over there, looks ornamental, almost like a little column. Looks kind of like a spike. Well, who knows? Maybe that ball and tombstone were both vandalized. It's a nice little, quaint little spot back here, though. Yeah, that's the only one up there that has like a little spike. I mean, this one here, I wouldn't call that a spike. Same with that one right there. Maybe it got broken off. Or perhaps the story isn't true at all. That's always a possibility too, folks. So, like, a lot of these look damaged. See, like these little ones here. These are definitely damaged. Same with these over here. That one's busted off. So is that one. Is that, you know, just natural weathering, or is that people coming out here and damaging things on purpose? Yeah, so this is the only one here that I could think of that fits that description of a spike. I just don't see a name on it. Oh, actually, no, there is some writing right here. I see 1887. I can't quite make out the... So maybe this is the one. This one has... Whoa, that moves. Whoa. So look, it looks discolored, almost like something was... I think this is the one. Like something was... See how that's discolored from here? Like something used to be sitting on here. But this is definitely busted. It moves, so... I think this is the one. Yeah, so I think this is the one. It's the only one that has like a spike, and like I said, it is discolored there, almost as if something was sitting on here. Like there was like a little divot in the stone ball, and it sat right here. But almost like somebody... This looks vandalized too. That's a shame, but I think this might be what we're... It's not the ball, but I think this is where the tomb where the ball stood or sat on. So this, you know, supposedly the, you know, got some leaf blower action down there now, but you know, the ball, if this is the tomb, then I guess at one point the ball fell off was here, and it'd either roll around here or roll around like this at the different parts of the cemetery that make its way back, or people brought it back and then it was moved again. You know, that's the story. Not moved by people, but moved on its own. So yeah. So I think that's the way. I think this is the one. So that helps to confirm the story to some extent. Plus there are infants buried here too. There's one up there. So, but yeah. Let's look around just a little bit more. Once again, you can see how it's discolored up there. Almost like that part was protected from weathering for a while. But where did the ball end up? I mean, yeah, maybe people come here, the ball might have been stolen. Keep talking about the ball. Still no babies crying, which I'm thankful for. And I might make for a cool video, but I'd rather not hear babies crying in the cemetery here. Look at some of these. Yeah, not all the... I thought sometimes these smaller ones are children, but this one's not. 1852 to 1928. Well, it looks like 78 to 82. So that could be an infant there. You know, I just love this spot right here with the giant oak and the older style grave markers and the leaf blower. You know, baby's crying, just a leaf blower going. And who knows, maybe the ball got rolled down the hill or somewhere too. I could see people doing that. Right up there it is, and just roll it on down. Or maybe it was just removed because it was causing problems. I can see that as well. Yeah. No stone ball. Just a quaint little spot out here. So I think we'll say goodbye. The flying gnats have just gotten really bad. I don't know if you can see them around my head. Now we have a leaf blower joining us, so it might be a good sign to take off. Didn't find the ball, but some interesting stories about babies crying, and I think we found like I said, the tombstone that the ball was on at some point. But we're going to continue on journey. I got another covered bridge. We're in Clarion County. We're going to head up to Erie County to get to that covered bridge, the Waterford covered bridge. One I tried to get to last year, but they were working on it. And then eventually we'll be in Allegheny National Forest. Hoping to camp at the Heart's Content campground tonight, but anyway. We'll take one more last look as we walk out. But yeah, just not seeing that ball anywhere. Alright, but goodbye, Cook Forest Cemetery. It is a quaint little spot. I love that section right back there. That, I guess you call it mausoleum, is pretty neat too. There's the Jeep waiting for us. Yeah, there's a sign here. It's often called the Cooksburg Cemetery too. There you go. So that'll be it for this one, folks. Bugs are driving me nuts. We're gonna head on up into Erie County. Hopefully the bugs aren't too bad in Allegheny National Forest, but yeah. Yeah, so no stone ball and no crying babies. Would have liked to find a stone ball, but kind of glad we didn't hear the crying babies. Alright, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed a spooky little video, and hopefully we'll see you on the next one.